let's get on. We've got very little time today. Let's get on. Collaborating your way to successful growth. Louise, who have we got talking to us today?
Well, today's speaker has a wealth of business experience, from creating a line of ladies' undergarments to starting the first local business hub. Over the years, she has helped so many small businesses grow. She's no stranger to you all, as she founded SiGNAL, the place to do business in Borden, and the BizHub as we know it today. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce the queen of collaboration, Emma Selby.
Hey!
Hello. Hello, good morning, everybody.
Hello, good morning, Emma.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Thank you for such a nice introduction, Lou. I had something I wanted to say, actually, just before we get going, if I may, because normally I'm behind the scenes and I don't get to say very much. I keep myself sort of in the back room. But I want to say thank you to Lou and Stu for all of your presenting of the hub, like every Friday morning, and bringing all that energy and enthusiasm to us every single Friday morning. It's such a lift, and I think people have really, really benefited from it, especially over the last 3 months. So thank you, because, and you know, it's not easy to come on screen and be so full of life and enthusiasm for what we do, and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everybody else has as well. I also wanted to say, this is something we missed out last year. It's a win. So this is well, it's not my win, but I'm going to mention it right now. Lou has been with SiGNAL for 2 years today.
Oh.
It's her second SiGNAL birthday, and I believe that due to some horrendous oversight, we missed it last year. So I'm just going to mention it now and say thank you very much for all of the hard work that you have put in over the last 2 years.
Thank you.
You should celebrate that win somehow, maybe over the weekend.
I'm sure I can find a way to celebrate, Emma. It's one of the things that I'm very good at, is celebrating. So yes, thank you.
Especially now the pubs are open.
Exactly. So yes, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. I tell you, I feel like I've been here my whole life, if I'm honest. I just literally feel like I do nothing else. So yeah, it's brilliant. Right, I'm going to switch off and let you get on with the show.
Okay, thanks guys. Bye. See you later. Bye. All right, hi everybody. I'm just going to go into presenter mode. Give me a second. Right, good morning. Can everybody see me? And can you just all put something in the chat box to say that you can hear and see me fine? And I will just find the chat box. Okay. Hi, thank you for raising your hand. Okay, great, thank you. I can't see the chat box, but I will work out how to see that at some point. Okay, so this morning we are here to talk about collaboration, which is something that small businesses really need to embrace and understand, because when we all work together, although we are so small, great things can be achieved. So when I was looking around on YouTube for ways to illustrate collaboration, I found this, which I thought was lovely, so I'm just going to play it for you. Okay, sorry. Let's play that again. And there we go. So, that's how to collaborate in nature, and obviously the point there being that none of those ants could build that bridge on their own, but together they can. So why is collaboration so important for small businesses? Now, I've got a problem here because I can't see the chat, so perhaps you could put your answers in the Q&A box which I can see for some reason. So hang on, let's just see if I can see the chat here. Okay, so I can see the Q&A, but I can't see the chat. So I have a question for you all. So if you could answer in the Q&A box, that would be great. So who knows how many small businesses there are in the UK right now? Thank you, Sheila. I'm loud and clear. Excellent. And does anybody have any ideas how many small businesses there are? That's businesses of less than 50 people in the UK right now. Okay, Adam says 1.3 million. It's a bit more than that. Anyone else? Any other answers? 2 million, 4 million, we're getting closer, but it's more than 4 million. So the answer, in fact, is 5.8 million small businesses, that's businesses with less than 50 employees, are currently operational in the UK. And just if you want to have some more guesses, how many of those as a percentage do you think only have one person in them? So how many of those as a percentage might be sole traders? It's many more than you think. Absolutely right. It's nearly. So yes, it's 70. It's between Adam's and Sheila's answer. So the answer is 75% of those, or 4.5 million businesses in the UK currently operational, are just one person. They're sole traders. Then they haven't employed anybody, and they are not intending to employ anybody either. So the answer is 75%. Does anybody know what the failure rate is of small businesses? So the top 95%, that's businesses of 10 and less employees, including all sole traders. 80% is correct, but it's actually, well, the failure rate is 10%, so it's 80% of businesses that fail. So if we just have a look at the actual statistics, there are a lot of different statistics around. Why can't I do this? So here we go. 75% of all businesses are sole traders. 95% employ less than 10 people, 99.9% are under 50 people, and that's the total number of businesses is 5.8 million. It's 4.35 million that are just one person, and 5.5 million that are less than 10 people. So the vast majority of businesses in the UK are extremely small. In fact, the vast majority are sole traders, 75%. So that's just, I think that's just interesting, because when we think about collaboration, who are those small businesses, the sole traders and micro businesses? Where are their natural collaboration networks? It's essential they do collaborate, because, as we say, the annual failure rate of business in the UK is 10.8%. And in fact, a really nasty, well, really depressing statistic is that the pre-pandemic forecast for the number of closures of small businesses in 2020 was 632,889 businesses. And that was the prediction based on last year's figures. That was the prediction for this year before COVID-19 took hold. So in fact, last year, in 2018-2019, Companies House records show that 508,865 companies were dissolved. That was last year. And that's the highest and fastest closure rate since our last recession in 2009-10. And, you know, we can only imagine what that might look like in about 6 months' time. So what do we do about this? Well, nobody can build a business alone. And that's really the ethos behind the BizHub. That's why I founded it. Everybody, all of these small businesses need people around them. And if you're a small business without a support network, it can be quite hard to identify people that you trust enough to collaborate with. So why do you need additional people around you? Because you need additional skill sets, because nobody has all the skills that are needed to build a business. You need backup in case you can't work for some reason, and that can be a number of reasons. You know, we've all been there: illness, illness of a relative, illness of children, other problems with families. It's all kinds of reasons that a small business owner might not be able to work for a number of weeks. And you need backup, because otherwise your income dries up in a very short time. And I think during the pandemic, became really apparent how many businesses could not survive for 3 weeks could not survive being non-operational for even 3 to 4 weeks. So we're all very fragile. We need support around us for those challenging days. And as you all know, in business, there are many challenging days, and you just need somebody around you who will pick you up when things go wrong and when you're not feeling up to it. You need customers and fans. Obviously, you need customers and fans in your business. No business can survive without customers. But critically, in this context, you need time to spend with your customers and to build and nurture relationships with prospects. Because as a business owner, that's probably the single most important thing for you to be doing. As we always say, finding and keeping customers is the single most important thing that you should be doing. And in order to spend the right amount of time doing that, you need to have other people fulfilling some of the other functions in your business, or you simply won't have enough time to nurture those all-important customer relationships. And you also need other people around you because you need new opportunities. And that's about getting out and meeting other people and talking to people, and that active collaboration work, which is finding out what opportunities there are for you locally, in your industry, and around and about. So what is collaboration? Quite simply, it just means to work with another person or a group in order to achieve or do something. In business, we talk about coordinating the efforts of different people to provide goods and services. The more different people and the more diverse those people who can come together to create your products and services or input into the activities of your business, the better. Collaboration is an art and it takes work. It is not something that just simply happens if you sit around or if you passively go to networking meetings. You have to actively seek out the right people for your business, and you have to build a relationship with them. And when you do that, you create something called social capital. And the social capital that you create through collaboration work is extremely valuable. Many big companies put it on their balance sheet alongside the finance capital because it is what makes you resilient. And with 4.3 million of us small businesses working alone every day, and a further million working with just a very small team, it's absolutely vital that as a community of small businesses, we all work together, creating social capital for ourselves and for others in a way that will sustain us all through challenging times. So why are we talking about collaboration today? Well, it's July, and July is Collaboration Month. And for those of you who are new to the BizHub, or members that may have forgotten because it was a long time ago, we base the whole of the annual programme of the BizHub on this document here. It's called My Growth Planner. And members, you should all have one in your orange folder, in your yearbook. And basically it divides up everything that we do, everything that a small business needs to do, into 10 sections. So we are doing this one here. Let's see, there it goes. That's collaboration. We've already covered, I think I can get a pointer, can't I? Let's see if I can just do this. Da, da, da. Right. Highlight, laser pointer, right, here we go. So here's Collaboration Month. We've already covered in February, delivering value. March was ideal customers. April was marketing. May was costs. June was increasing sales. And together, all of these 10 sections create what is sometimes known in a more traditional document as the business model canvas. And on the traditional business model canvas, collaboration is known as key partners. And that's what it's all about, is identifying those key partners that can help you fill in gaps in your business. And your collaborators should probably connect, all of these sections connect, which is why it's so useful to fill this out for your business, so you can see all of these things on one page, and you can see for your business how all these different things interconnect, and it should give you some great insights. So if you're looking for key partners to collaborate with, they should share the same values as you. That's really important. Profiles as you do. They may be able to help you with your marketing or with amplification. We're going to talk about some ways where people can collaborate to share marketing power, and collaborating may be able to help you spread some business costs. Also, collaborations can help you increase revenues. So that's how collaboration sits within the growth planner. Okay, so collaboration. Since the dawn of time, people have collaborated with each other to increase their safety and their chances of survival. And what we still see is today and in business, humans create tribes in which they feel safe and they trust each other. And when you build a big organization, that's essentially what you're trying to do, is to create a big organization within which all of the collaborators and employees feel safe and able to work together and trust each other. And it's essential to keep that circle of trust within which people can collaborate. Otherwise, collaboration doesn't really take place. Now, if you don't exist in a big organization, you can find that trust within networks and communities like the BizHub and other often online business communities. So this is Simon Sinek, and he's talking about trust and why humans need to feel trust to collaborate. So it's just a 2-minute clip. Just to get the cursor back, there it is. Here we go.
You know, in the military, they give medals to people who are willing to sacrifice themselves so that others may gain. In business, we give bonuses to people who are willing to sacrifice others so that we may gain. Right? What I learned is that it's the environment. And if you get the environment right, every single one of us has the capacity to do these remarkable things. And more importantly, others have that capacity too. I've had the great honor of getting to meet some of these who we would call heroes, who've put themselves and put their lives at risk to save others. And I asked them, why would you do it? Why did you do it? And they all say the same thing, because they would have done it for me. It's this deep sense of trust and cooperation. So trust and cooperation are really important here. The problem with concepts of trust and cooperation is that they are feelings, they're not instructions. I can't simply say to you, trust me, and you will. I can't simply instruct two people to cooperate and they will. It's not how it works, it's a feeling. So where does that feeling come from? If you go back 50,000 years to the Paleolithic era, to the early days of Homo sapien, what we find is that the world was filled with danger. And so we evolved into social animals, where we lived together and worked together in what I call a circle of safety, inside the tribe, where we felt like we belonged. And when we felt safe amongst our own, the natural reaction was trust and cooperation. The modern day is exactly the same thing. The world is filled with danger, things that are trying to frustrate our lives or reduce our success, reduce our opportunity for success. We have no control over these forces. These are a constant and they're not going away. The only variable are the conditions inside the organization. And that's where leadership matters, because it's the leader that sets the tone. When a leader makes the choice to put the safety and lives of the people inside the organization first, to sacrifice their comforts and sacrifice the tangible results so that the people remain and feel safe and feel like they belong, remarkable things happen. I was flying on a trip and I was witness.
I'm just going to leave that there. So essentially, you need to feel safe in order to collaborate. When the conditions are right, people will naturally cooperate for the greater good. But Simon Sinek, he spends a lot of time working in big organizations, helping them with their internal and external collaborations. But for those of us who work alone, it's important that we find these places where we can find other people that we can trust enough and feel safe enough to work with. And I don't often talk about or promote the BizHub at the BizHub, apart from the introduction and so on, but I feel it's really relevant here to have a little look at how we have gone about creating a safe environment for small businesses and freelancers at the BizHub. And because many of you in the audience are new to the BizHub and haven't been before, and also because those of us who are regulars at the actual BizHub at SiGNAL, we have not been there clearly for the last 4 months and we've missed it. So I think this is a nice opportunity to play our promotional clip of the BizHub. Many of you won't have seen it because it was filmed, actually, funny enough, it was filmed on the 6th of March. So we just got it in before the lockdown and got it all edited and out just in time for us all to shut the building and go home for 4 months. So I'm just going to play this short clip.
to an incident.
No,
And I watched the gate agent.
If I can get on to the next slide. Finish. There we go. So this is just a 2-minute clip about the BizHub and the safe space that we have created for small business.
BizHub is weekly training. We bring people in every week so that they spend a significant amount of time with us and with each other, which we think is really important.
Many of you will recognise yourselves
really
here. I haven't seen it already.
People, the businesses are all very, very different. But these people have one thing in common, and that's that they're really open-minded. They're open to change, they're open to learning, and they are ambitious. They want to grow the business that they dream of. There are 3 really important things that a business owner gets when they come to BizHub. There's the skills training, there's the spending time with like-minded people, and there's the accountability. And accountability is really important. It's what business owners don't have if they stay at home, so it's why we get them here in a friendly and supportive environment, and we just help them stay on track. I think what makes the BizHub really special is that people can come in and be themselves. It's a really friendly environment, so it's not a traditional networking environment where you're expected to stand up and pitch. It's a supportive environment. It's a group of friends, really. You can come with a problem, you can share the fact that your business really might not be going that well this year, and people will just listen. They'll offer friendly advice and support. Most of us have been there at some time, so it really is welcoming, it's inclusive, it's for everybody.
Okay, so that's the BizHub, and that's a place where we can feel that we are safe because we trust each other, we know each other. Although we work alone, we've really got to know each other's businesses over the months and years. And when that safe space is created, then collaboration can take place. And these are just some of the collaborations that I've noticed and taken notice of over the last few months at the BizHub and between our members. I'm sure there are many more, and I'd love to hear about them if you know of more. But we've got an interesting one, Ace Cleaning, Dave McKinney, and Red Roof's Emma Bateman. So Ace, now known as something different. I can't remember. I know you changed your name, Dave, but known to us at the moment as Ace Cleaning. And these 2 cleaning companies could have seen each other in this space as competitors. They're both cleaning companies. They're both in North East Hampshire. But instead, they got to know each other, and they discovered that they each had something the other didn't. And Dave's got more of a labour force. Emma's got some specialist cleaning skills, and they got together and shared those skills and shared that labour to work on some joint projects, which is fantastic. It's great to see, and it's really important that people have a more broad-minded approach to looking at their competition, because quite often your competitors can be your collaborators, and no one will understand your business as well as your competitors do. So then we've got Liz and Sue of Coconut Blue and Tatty Goose, who shared resources. They both sell, Tatty Goose sells interior design, Coconut Blue sell homewares, and they got together to collaborate on a couple of fairs, trade fairs, Christmas fair. So they're sharing resources and spreading cost to reach a similar set of customers. Then over in SiGNAL Workshops, we've got Darren from Dowell's Carpentry and Chris and Joseph from Board and Bespoke Furniture. And they have recently been sharing customers and sharing work because one of them had more work than they could manage, so they shared and passed some of the work on to one of the other carpenters in SiGNAL Workshops. Again, it's really inspiring to see when that happens, that we all can reach out and help other people at the same time as helping ourselves. Also interesting collaboration in the lockdown was Ryland's Research, who are engineers, and Hogmore Distillery, who occupy the same workspace in the SiGNAL bungalows, and they got together to produce hand sanitizer by pairing materials and skills. So Ryland's Research provided the lubricant and Hogmore Distillery provided the alcohol, and they were able to produce and distribute hand sanitizer during lockdown. So another great SiGNAL BizHub collaboration there. So who am I and why am I the person who is here and chosen to talk to you about this today? Well, I'm a huge fan of collaboration, and I have been hustling and getting to know people and stalking people and setting up random meetings ever since I set up in business 8 years ago. I'm the founder of SiGNAL. I also founded the Farnham Hub back in 2013, which was reincarnated as the SiGNAL BizHub. Now, SiGNAL is the BizHub, but also the workspace, and has many different revenue streams and many different communities within its walls. But I wanted to just say we really did have a great few months during the lockdown, despite all the difficulties and despite having to shut the building back on the 18th of March and having to send all the team home and work remotely, as you're all familiar with what happened. We managed to increase most of our key metrics. So there is a point to this. I'm going to quickly go through it. We increased our BizHub customers by 18%. We increased workspace inquiries by 266%. We increased our social following dramatically by 250%. And we also spearheaded a digital campaign where we managed to print, we harnessed various different 3D print businesses and local people with 3D printers and delivered 1,000 3D print advisors to the NHS, and all of that between April and June 2020. And the point of this is that I didn't do any of this on my own. This might be my business, I might be the founder, but I probably didn't do any of it, if truth be told. I just sort of orchestrated the whole thing. So who did do it? So if we have a look at this slide, this is what I call a matrix of collaboration. So these are the people that I collaborate with on a daily and weekly basis. So obviously you can see the team are all there, the wonderful SiGNAL team, all have very different skill sets. And then we have some of our suppliers. I put Sarah Bass up in the top left corner there. I know you're there, Sarah, but this is partly because you recruited Gareth and Claire, so you're a really integral part of the team in that way. But also because you're a really good collaborator, and you're an ambassador for SiGNAL, and I see you doing so many different, making so many different connections and positive connections with people and promoting people and going above and beyond really to help other people on their way, which is really what this is all about. I've put, so we've got Jane there from We Love to Blog for You, who's worked on our marketing right from the very beginning, and Blue Can Do, our IT suppliers, Aids our Clean It. So all of the people, we've got Rob there from Poor Design, who helped us with our logos, who did all of the design actually for our suite of logos, and Suzanne, who was mentioned in the introduction, who does a lot of training for us, for our team, and also from our building. We've got the Borden Builders Network, which is one of our own communities that we created in order to collaborate with trades and builders in Borden, and Community First, who are also great collaborators. They connect they connect businesses and charities all around Borden. The Royal Exchange, that was mentioned in the introduction as well. That's the pub where we have our Borden Business Exchange, usually when we're able to actually meet in the pub. And so a real network of people, from suppliers to staff to other collaborators, and of course the town itself, which is very key for us, Whitehill and Borden. So all of these people helped us to achieve what we did during lockdown, and our key partners and the people who are responsible for us all being here is the Whitehill and Borden Regeneration Company. Now, how did we come to be collaborating with them? Well, so I set up, I use Twitter a lot. Twitter is where I collaborate. It's where I find people in my competitive space, people who are doing what I'm doing, people I might want to get to know, find out what events are going on. I don't know if you guys use it, but it's a really easy way to find people, talk to people, and get people's attention in your space. So there we go, there's the Twitter logo. Now I use Twitter, so back about 6 years ago when I was running the Farnham Hub, I was doing a little bit of competitor analysis, and one of the people that I found on Twitter was a lady called Emma Jones, who runs a company called Enterprise Nation, which, if you don't know it, I recommend you have a look at it. She does a lot of really good stuff, but she's very London centric. So essentially she does business support for small and micro businesses, very similarly to how we run things at SiGNAL. But she's based in London. Most of the people that at the time that she was impacting were London businesses. So I thought, well, it would be brilliant if the Hub and the Enterprise Nation could get together and create a collaboration called Hub Nation, with her clout and her government contacts, and my model of this business hub where people, small businesses, help each other by training each other. We can take this idea across the country. Now, my ambition has always been to have a hub in every town in the UK. That was a very clear vision at the time, and I thought Emma could help me achieve that. Now, she didn't take me up on that proposal, even though I tried for quite a long time, actually. That didn't work, but what did happen was that she made me one of her regional representatives, a regional champion for Surrey and Hampshire for Enterprise Nation. So I was doing work for her and with her, helping her reach small businesses outside of London. And what happened because of that, the next thing that happened was that she managed to get me on a team of small business advisors that was invited to Downing Street, which is a bit of a pivotal moment for me, actually. So I was invited up to talk to David Cameron's business advisor with some other small business owners or leaders of small business communities. And we were able to actually drive policies. Some of the suggestions that we made were actually taken up. And that was a really good time, actually. That was a very good government for small business. They were very proactive in helping this vast small business community in a way that perhaps this government aren't. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. After the Downing Street event and being regional champion for a year or two, an opportunity came up in Whitehill and Bordon. And because I was the regional champion, Emma asked me to go to a meeting. And at that meeting, I met James Child and James Gross from the Whitehill and Bordon Regeneration Company. I also met the guys from the Royal Exchange at that meeting as well, because it was a meeting about how do we turn Bordon from a former military town into a town of enterprise and entrepreneurship, where people are proud of this sort of ethos of enterprise, and where we can build a town centre that is founded on the energies and enthusiasm of small business. And that is the meeting at which SiGNAL was born, the Bordon Business Exchange was born, and everything that you basically see before you today came out of that. And the reason I'm telling you this is because that all came out of some active collaboration work. So that was deliberately seeking out people that I felt could help me moving towards my goals and making sure that they paid me some attention. For that to happen, you do need to really know your vision. So just going to the sort of learnings, what we need to learn in order to collaborate effectively, you need to know your vision, which means you're always headed in the right direction. If you know your vision, you'll be able to state your goals correctly, and then you'll know who to collaborate with and who can help you achieve your goals. Excuse me. You also need to know your platforms. There are many amazing platforms out there to collaborate from. This is what Suzanne was talking about last week. If you missed that, you can pick it up. If you're a member, you can pick it up in the members area. But Suzanne was talking about a number of platforms and the way that you can use them as a small business to collaborate. Learn the platforms and use them to break down barriers. And as I say, Twitter is it's a really good medium for breaking down barriers, in the sense that you can literally approach anybody with a Twitter account and speak to them. And if you know what you want, you're very likely to get a response, as long as you can help them in return. So look at those relationships, look at your existing relationships, and ask yourself how they can move you closer towards your goals, and how can you help other people move towards theirs. And it's very often one and the same thing. And another important thing to do is to identify, once you understand what your goals are, what your vision is, where you're headed, what are the things that are going to get in your way? identify those threats. What are the things that might stop you reaching your goals? What are your weaknesses? What are the weaknesses in your business? And when you know what they are, then the next question is, how can your existing relationships help you to mitigate those weaknesses and to fill in the gaps? And if they can't, then who are the new people that you're going to go and find and bring into your business and collaborate with in order to make your business more resilient and more likely to move forwards closer to your vision. So this is the kind of, how do you actually do that? So it's all very well to say it's a great idea to collaborate, go and find people, collaborate with them, get their attention, but how? So this is, these are some ways that you can, as a small business, go out there right away today at very little cost and with very little time, get yourself noticed. So on the left, we've got this is sort of left-hand stack. There's my pointer, this one here. We've got some things, these are what I call quick wins. And I've got some examples of these coming up, so I'm going to whip through them very quickly. Quick wins are social media shout-outs, comment on other people's posts. You love it when people comment on yours. Go out and comment on other people's. It'll probably get you more attention than writing a post yourself. The same with responses, retweet, share. Twitter parties are a great idea. Twitter hours are hours where everybody goes into Twitter using the same hashtag at the same time, and there are a number of them for small businesses. One of them I'm going to show you in a minute, Hampshire Hour. There's also there's small business, the Surrey Chat on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock as well. If you Google it, you can find Twitter parties on Twitter hours for your industry in your location on pretty much absolutely anything. Directory posts are a great idea. That's where you write a blog referencing a lot of other people in your space. So they get a backlink, they will notice you because you're writing about them. I'm going to show you an example of that in a minute as well. Put out lots of recommendations. If people are asking for recommendations, give recommendations for other people. That would also get you noticed. Say thank you. I mentioned Sarah earlier. This is something she's been doing recently, saying thank you online to everybody that she connects with or has a meeting with, and it's a very effective way of collaborating, and it doesn't take long, and it just builds up that social capital, those people who are really likely to do you a favour in return. Testimonials, again, a great way of winning friends and influencing people in a very short time. So try and think of which of those you could take into your business. Which of those could you kind of get out there, could you implement in the next few days to start building up that social capital around your business? So social capital being, people who are likely to support you, help you, and get you closer to your goals. How are we doing for time? Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to give you a list anyway of all of these different ways that you can collaborate. There's the ones in the middle are sort of slightly more input and slightly more investment, and these ones are for more established businesses perhaps, but I'm going to give you some examples in a minute. So here, some quick collaboration ideas. I've just picked 4 from the list. Here we have this is a directory post. This is one that Jane wrote for us for SiGNAL. It's called 10 Great Co-working Spaces in Hampshire. So we list all our competitors. Well, some are not near enough to be really competitive, but anyway, lots of people in our space. We want them to know about us. We may want to work with them in the future. So we've just put a link to their company, their space, and a little bit about them. And when you've done that, it's a good idea to send that blog to the people that you've mentioned because they will like to see it. And again, it's just a quick collaborative idea to get somebody on your side, knowing about your business, feeling positive about you. And yeah, it just gives you that little bit amplification. Here on the left, we've got a picture of a mastermind. That was also in the list. So if a mastermind is a great way of building significant and meaningful relationships with other businesses at your level in your area. I can't recommend it enough. I've been doing masterminds for the last 7 years. And as Lou and Stu were talking about, we run one at SiGNAL for our members. It's included with membership and it happens every month. But there are a number of masterminds that you can choose from. And like I say, they're just a very effective way of moving your business forwards, using the energy and enthusiasm of other business owners and creating that community within which you can trust and collaborate. This bottom picture here is of a Twitter chat. This is Hampshire Hour. I don't know if you need to zoom in. There we go. So Hampshire Hour happens every Tuesday on Twitter at 8 p.m. after dinner, and you can just get a glass of wine and open up Twitter and use the hashtag Hampshire Hour, and they always have a host and different questions, and the attendees are all other small businesses in Hampshire, so you have an hour to chat to them, obviously have a look at their profiles, see who they are, and it's an open invitation to talk to everybody in the room. And then this here is a video testimonial from Richard Woods, and we got this testimonial after he came on as a speaker at the BizHub, and it was unprompted, we didn't ask for it, and it was just a really nice thing to receive, and I recommend that people do it. So he's just created a little video there, a piece to camera, he's created a background of pictures off the internet of SiGNAL, and he's basically just bigging us up and saying thanks very much, SiGNAL is great, really enjoyed my time there. And then he sent it to us and posted it on his channels as well. So that's a really nice and neat example of a quick win-win where you can help another business, help yourself, give somebody that warm fuzzy feeling, and generally make that person feel that they would be really happy to help you, work with you, do you a favour in the future. All right. Oh, hang on, I zoomed in. There we go. Another idea on the list is to create, to collaborate with local individuals in your space, stakeholders, or other businesses, competitors, businesses you admire, anybody you'd like to work with. Ask them if they'd like to do an interview with you. This can be a written interview and presented as a blog post, or it can be a podcast, or in our case, we invite guest speakers to come onto our SiGNAL page and do a video interview with them. And that is a great way of getting out into your community, or in fact, you could do this with literally anybody, anywhere on the globe these days using these collaboration tools. So have a think about who you might interview to create a bit of content for your website or your blog, but also to make that person very aware of who you are and what you do, and to help them by amplifying what they do. And there's a lot of communities out there, finally, that will help. I mean, there's a lot of communities that have sprung up specifically to help these 5 million small businesses collaborate. Excuse me, my voice is literally running out. One that's worth looking at, obviously we mentioned the BizHub, but there's also a community called Small Business Saturday UK, and they celebrate Small Business Saturday, or we celebrate Small Business Saturday on December it's usually the first Saturday in December, I think. But all year, this is a great Facebook page and Twitter handle for you to follow. They give out great tips. They really help. They don't charge anything, and they help amplify your voice. So they will tweet and retweet and share and promote you and what you do. There's also the LinkedIn Local. Obviously, that's a great way to collaborate online with local people. It was mentioned in the introduction. And I just wanted to mention the FSB as well here, who also, you can, even if you're not a member, it's really worth checking out their Facebook page. They put a lot of supporting advice on there and a lot of great tips, and they also help, they really do help support this community that we all belong to of small businesses. So yeah, those are the organisations that are out there that can help you collaborate. So how are we doing for time? Not bad, 10:30. After the break, we're going to go back to that question about who could be in your sort of collaborative matrix. What are the threats and the weaknesses that might prevent you from achieving your goals, and who are the people that you could bring in and work together with in order to plug those gaps. So that's what we're going to do after the break. We'll be looking at a matrix of strength. I'm sure you've all seen this, but it's very relevant in this context. having a look at the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats around your business, but in the specific context of what people could you bring in, how could you use your strengths to help others, and how can others help you overcome your weaknesses. So just to summarize the final slide, in order to collaborate effectively, you need to know your vision and set clear goals. Your business is simply a matrix of relationships with you at its center. Those relationships are all important. And going back to Suzanne's talk and my talk about what I said about Twitter, there are no longer any physical barriers to collaboration with anyone in the world. And I mean, that's really new, and this trend is really accelerating. The technologies are getting so much more sophisticated. Barriers, hierarchical barriers are really coming down as people are able to contact and chat with anybody, regardless of geographical barriers. So it's a trend to really, for small businesses, it's a really important trend, and it's a trend to really embrace and get behind. Yeah, that's it. I've loved talking to you. Thank you very much indeed for listening. I'm looking forward to having a chat with you all about your strengths and weaknesses after the break.
Thank you very much, Emma. I'm going to give you a solo clap, but I'm sure that everybody is.
I'm so sorry I couldn't see the chat, so I'm just not able to see the chat.
Oh,
so,
no.
So I don't know if there's anything we need to quickly address.
No, I've been going through, having a look. Save all your questions for after. We will discuss them in the meeting. If you can't be in the meeting afterwards, then I'm sincerely sorry, but do send your questions through. Where can they send their questions, Emma?
Well, you mean just privately to me, or?
Yeah, can they send them directly to you, or do you want them to post them on the Facebook group?
No, totally. You can email me, emma@signalborden.org. Most people know where to find me. You can find me on Twitter.
Yeah, okay. That's brilliant. I had a little collaboration success, and I wasn't even trying. So I've been lurking around on Reddit, and I put a post there, and it's kind of blown up, and I've had several people contacting me saying, how do I work with you?
Wow.
It was completely unintentional. I've got a sign manufacturer in Canada who makes these big, massive scoreboards in stadiums, asking if I want to consult with them.
So Reddit for you is like Twitter for me.
I really genuinely didn't expect to get anything out of the post. It was generally just giving some information to people, you know. So it shows you that by, you know, givers get, you give away some great ideas, and people see you as a beacon and move towards you. Anyway, we'll discuss more of that in the second half. Thank you once again, Emma, for your fantastic insights and experiences with SiGNAL and collaboration. So, ladies and gentlemen, go away now. We're going to come back at 10:45, and we will discuss all of the matters arising. Emma, see you in the meeting then. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hello, and welcome back to this collaboration session. Very good to see you all.
Morning.
Hello.
Hi, Beck. Nice to see you, Beck.
Hello.
Hello.
Morning. Morning. Hi.
How many have we got? Hello.
Wait a few more minutes to get everybody in.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Adam. Hi, Adam. Nice to see you.
Hello. Well, Terry's here, but I do realise he has problems with his camera. So, hello, Terry.
Hello.
Hello.
There's Shana.
Hello, Shana.
So welcome to Ellie and Beth and Adam. It's all of your first time here today. So, hello, very nice to see you. Very nice to, well, Beth we've met before, and Ellie we've met before, obviously, as well.
Yes.
Very nice to see you. Nice to meet you, Adam.
I do. Hello. Sorry, couldn't press my mute button.
Oh, you're very quiet, Adam. Is there a way of turning yourself up or leaning in closer to the microphone?
Oh, clicking.
Oh no, you're on mute. Or it's
the headphones.
no. Unfortunately, we still can't hear you. Oh.
No. Sound audio. Anyway, so shall we crack on?
We'll crack on. Emma, I'm going to hand this over to you. You're driving.
Okay.
You're in the driving seat.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So how we're going to run this second session is we're going to be looking at the strengths and weaknesses of your businesses and the opportunities and the threats, anything that might get in the way of you achieving your goals, and then looking at whether any of your existing relationships can be pulled in or maximized or nurtured in order to plug those gaps, and then have a look and see if you need to introduce some new people into the process somewhere along the way. So what we're going to do, I'm going to share my screen now, and we're just going to have a look at the matrix, just the cross with the strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and threats. And then we're going to break out into, how many of us are there? Well, so we'll be like sort of 3 groups of 4 or 5, and each group will have either myself or Stuart or Louise in it, and we'll just be talking through those collaboration opportunities that you have that you might not be maximising at the moment. Does that all sound okay? Everybody okay with that? Give me a nod. Excellent. Yeah. Fantastic. Super. Right, let's share my screen and see if we get back to that presentation. One moment. There we go. Just going to move through to the right slide. A little round of applause. I love those audio clips. It's just too tempting. Oh, my screen's frozen. Great. Let's, there we go. And screen sharing. There we go. Got there in the end. All right, so everybody can see this very simple cross diagram. So if everybody's got a bit of pen and paper, and a pen rather, I think the simplest thing to do is just to draw that on a bit of paper yourselves. When we're in the breakouts, we don't all have this particular diagram on our screen. So, and just start thinking now, before we put you in the groups, take a couple of minutes to list out your strengths, opportunities in front of you. Think about with the opportunities, think about reaching your goals as being an opportunity, and then possible things, the barriers, the things that might stop you either maximizing your strengths or being able to take advantage of the opportunities to reach your goals. So those are the weaknesses, things that are lacking in your business, things that might stop you, and the actual threats to your business. And obviously we're all very, very familiar with external threats right now. I'll assume he's just come. Was Sumi at the original webinar, Stu?
Sorry, what was that?
So Sumi's in the waiting room.
Oh, she wasn't in the original.
She wasn't in the original meeting, so she's not going to know. That's okay.
Well, we'll let her in.
She'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a little chat with her, whoever has her in their group. Yeah, so threats can be actual existential threats. Obviously, we've had some serious threats over the last 4 months. People have had their businesses actually shut down. They've had to cease trading. They've had to close their venues. I guess one very real threat is that might happen again in the next couple of months if we get another local or national lockdown. But threats are also things like personal performance, if you've illness or family trouble, that could get in the way of you being able to deliver what you need to deliver to make your business a success. So we'll just spend another couple of minutes on that, and then Gareth, you can start organising us into smaller groups.
Yeah, that's not a problem. How long are you wanting to spend in the breakout rooms?
Why don't we go in for 15 minutes into the breakout rooms to discuss, and then come back and talk about it in a larger group? Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, well, ready when you are. Just give me the heads up.
Okay, another couple of minutes. If we go into the groups at 10:55 and come out at 11:10. And I think if we'll do that one more time, Gareth, as well after that, okay? Thank you.
Has everybody got their drawing done?
How are we doing? Everyone, well, people I can see are still working away.
Okay, cool.
No, right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. I think we've all got that. Okay, this is where we go. Yeah, another minute. Hi, Shumi. Okay, we'll see you all in the smaller collaborative groups.
Yay.
Okay, sending you to the breakout rooms now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do think that collaboration and being part of a wider group like SiGNAL can quickly build your gravitas, that you can be, you know, you can be part of something bigger, because that is a concern for businesses. I've met a lot of business owners, when you ask them when they started, they say April 2020. Very brave people, you know, and I do think that the quicker that they can get past that being new, you know, strong, is really important. You know, they're getting the support that they need. Really important.
If I just come in there, that was actually something that we talked about in our group, wasn't it? That that actually, for those of us who are new, that collaboration with people who have been around a bit longer really adds to your toolkit. So you can draw on their experience, you can borrow a bit from their experience in order to add to your own. And that certainly worked in my experience. Being quite a new business, I've been able to kind of reach out and collaborate with people that have been around a lot longer than I have, and their reputation is more solid and they're more established. So we build up that social capital just by that collaborative effort.
It definitely brings you up, doesn't it? So it raises you up, it raises your game as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think talking to more experienced people in your field is really helpful. And in our group, a lot of people mentioned that their weakness was not knowing what to price and how to price themselves, how to put a value on what they do. And I think that's an area where speaking to somebody who's been in your line of work for a long time would be a really useful thing to do, because none of us get that right at the beginning. And it's a shame that we all keep making the same mistakes as our forebears, and charging too little at the beginning. And it's a mistake everybody seems to have to make and have to go through that process. But yeah, so talk to people who've been around, find someone who's been doing it a long time and ask them what you should charge. And also Ellie mentioned being young as being a weakness. And I think we all felt that perhaps it's not really a weakness in the area of, well, if she's come in to help with copywriting and digital marketing, that being in that millennial age group is actually, or even, are you millennial? Or are you right at the end of that? group.
Gen Z, actually.
Gen Z. So people who are digitally native actually have a huge advantage in the industry that you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a young person kind of entering into the adult world, you do feel a certain self-consciousness about your age and your experience. But I think it is also really important to remember that you do have different skills that you can offer that that might be more valuable to an older generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very worth remembering.
Yes, we had a very interesting possible conversation between two of our attendees, Keith and Adam. Adam helps with system automation and processes, prevents companies, double keying entry of their data and making sure that it all flows nicely. And of course, Keith is in GDPR, which is all about data security and protection. So there could be an interesting conversation at the very least. And Adam is really new. Was it launched this week or last week?
Wow.
Yeah, so kind of official, got a website kind of thing was a couple of weeks ago. So although I've been tinkering at the edges for a couple of months, but yeah, it's yeah. So my task list is ridiculous. But
I imagine.
Well, welcome.
Welcome to our world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tumi was talking about her opportunities to collaborate, with dog walkers and people like that. So it was a very interesting discussion, rather cruelly cut short, I would say.
Gareth, shall we try again? Shall we go back into the same groups or different groups, perhaps, and talk about our competitors? So I just want everybody to think about who's in there, who are they competing with, who might your customers give money to rather than you. So you're not necessarily just competing with people who are doing exactly the same thing as you, you're competing for money from the same customers, if you see what I mean. So somebody might buy an ice cream or a cup of coffee. So what are your customers likely to spend with the money that they're not spending with you, or divert, where are they going to divert from funds from to spend them with you? And basically who around you is doing the same thing as you, and could you actually collaborate with them rather than competing with them? So the example that we gave, neither Emma or Dave are here today, but their collaboration is a really good example of two competitors who might, had they been different people, have been really suspicious of each other and really closed to communicating with each other, but instead they become friends and they work together. So it's an example to us all, I think.
Yeah.
Can I just add something to that, Emma, which is why we don't restrict in the hub, isn't it, of people from the same industry. We just don't. Some organizations that you can join, they say we'll only have one of each person. We don't do that at the hub, and proof is in the pudding, really, because people naturally collaborate as opposed to it's direct competition. Why not? So it works really well.
There's enough customers for everybody.
Yeah.
We say the same in the Lip at Wellbeing group. We've at times had maybe 4 or 5 reflexologists, but we always say to people that, look, you will find the customer that belongs to you and you belong to them. We believe in the law of abundance. You'll have a connection. It doesn't matter. You walk into a room full of accountants. There's only one accountant that you're going to have a gut feeling that you want to hire. So, and we have found the same in terms of collaboration. Our networking group on Tuesday actually was about collaboration, and we were looking at putting together people and actually putting together a spa package. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now, where we put a virtual spa package together so people can buy services from different people, including Sue's sort of offering, because as far as the end customer is concerned, if we're giving them a package, that's an easier sell than just working with one individual. So we've never seen, in fact, we found that people who don't get the idea of collaboration aren't a good fit for us at the LWG.
Yeah, it's a little bit like what Shana was saying, isn't it, about your centre. Where is Shana? I can't find it, but there she is. Yes, so you were saying that you had a similar, you're trying to deliberately create an ethos of collaboration amongst apparently competitive therapists in your alternative health centre.
I mean, the therapists are very collaborative, but it's more been when people have differing views on how to view like the current situation and how you keep them on board and how you keep them communicating well with each other as well. And that's really, really important, because everyone has to make their own risk assessment and make their own judgments, and that everyone has to be respectful of that. And
it must have been a bit of a nightmare, because I was saying even in like quite a small family, we have quite different views on what being cautious means. So if you've got a whole community of people, all different, bringing different ideas to the table about when to open and close and what precautions to take, that must be really hard.
Yeah, and the professional bodies have been very, very variable. Some have been better than others, let's say. It's probably the kindest way of putting it. I won't shame the poorer ones. And, you know, that's the other issue. You know, everyone's been told they can go back on Monday, but whether the professional bodies will have enough time to put in place that all in place, and the insurance companies and everyone else. I mean, we won't be open on Monday for everyone. We'll just carry on what we're doing until we can gradually bring people in, I think. But that again is going to require quite a steady hand and a lot of collaboration and a lot of conversations with a lot of people.
Yes, so good luck with that. Okay, shall we go into our, how long do we have left? What time is it?
About 10 minutes.
Shall we have a quick 5-minute chat then about a competitive arena in our groups, and then we'll come back for the last 5 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. I was slightly more ready for it that time.
No, I was mid-sentence.
I gave you
our timing down perfect. We have our group. Well done, Lou.
I nailed it.
Almost.
Nailed it.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Well, does anybody have anything they want to share about insights into their competitive arena, who their competitors are? Are you already collaborating with your competitors? Are you holding them arm's length?
We had a really interesting contribution from Beth, who works with an extended associate network, and they are all effectively competitors, but as she pointed out, there's strength in numbers, and it was really interesting to see how she's used that to grow her business. So that was very, very instructional. Useful. There we go. Thank you.
I think I'm going to pass it over to Michael. Michael, do you want to just talk about what you said in our group about your competitors, as to you don't really pay that much attention to them? You're on mute, Michael.
Yes, I would say sort of my competitors tend to be VAs, farm secretaries, probably even the potential client themselves, sort of doing their own.
Yeah, that's what Adam was saying about having competitors being the clients doing it themselves, as opposed to other companies doing it.
But in terms of looking at what competitors do, I try not to worry too much about their pricing and other things, because what I'm trying to do is build my niche and build the business how I want it to be run, and take on the clients that I would like to work with.
What is your niche, Michael?
Well, I'm trying to get into sort of small, medium businesses, so where you got typical turnover around about $250,000 plus, and do more of a finance function. So it's just not just the bookkeeping; it's other things as well.
With that part-time FD work.
Yeah. Okay. Because if I just focus on the bookkeeping, then there's lots of bookkeepers out there that can do that job, but it's just trying to build it up. But also for my own sanity, I prefer to do the other type of work as well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So any other insights on competitors, Angie?
Yeah, I obviously am a VA, and I have a network of VAs that I can go to. I also run my own Facebook group of VAs that are in Surrey and Hampshire. So we collaborate a lot. And if there is work that I can't necessarily do for a client, I know that I can outsource it to those beautiful humans that are just as caring and lovely as me.
Oh, wonderful.
That's a great system. That's a great system for collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that backup, and that's a way of a solo entrepreneur like you, just having that backup and having someone around that you could probably pass a client on to if you absolutely had to. Or
totally. And if you're on holiday, you know that they can step in for you as well, which is awesome. So yeah.
Excellent stuff.
You can also, and this comes from a long time ago when I used to perform. There's a whole story there, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hang on a minute. Were you saying you've stopped performing? Because I don't know about that.
All right, shut up. But we were very premium act. We charged thousands for a performance, and if somebody would say to us, "Oh, that's too expensive," we would refer them to other acts, and the other acts were always thankful for us. But it was quite a nice way of passing on the work without having to say no, we can't do it, and it's still allowing that person to get some value out of having that conversation. So just because there's a competitor doesn't mean to say they're naturally going after exactly the same marketplace, especially if there's a price differential. Oh, Sarah's got a hand up.
Ellie mentioned something that we haven't mentioned a lot, but she mentioned niche again, which I think is something we should keep an eye on. And the lovely term I heard from Sumi, which I haven't heard a lot or before, is that there is a law of abundance in business. There is plenty of business out there, and you'll find your customers that are right for you. Have to keep the faith. And I think that's probably really important. You shouldn't be scared of people that perhaps, you might think of as competitors. You will find your customer, and I love those terms. So
yeah. I think that's a really nice note to end on, actually, that idea of abundance, and that you don't need to protect and hide and stay closed to collaboration. You can be open, you can share everything, you can tell everybody everything you know. People aren't going to take your customers away from you. If you're the right person for them, they will stay with you. And collaboration is key. No one's going to lose out by collaborating. You're not going to lose your IP or your secrets. I hear it quite a lot. People are saying, "Oh, they'll steal my ideas." It's like, that's fine. Ideas are free. Let them steal your ideas. They'll have a very different delivery. I think it's all about you being unique as a person, and nobody can take that away from you.
But that's come with confidence, though, doesn't it, Emma? It comes with building your confidence. That
it does. It comes with experience as well.
Experience and confidence and delivering and showing how you can deliver. That kind of comes in time.
I think Richard Branson said, being the best is always a really good business plan. So, you're not going to take your customers away.
On that nugget from Mr. Branson, or Sir Branson, or whatever he is now, Sir Richard, thank you very much, Emma, for sharing your experiences and your tips and hints about collaboration. Let's give a warm signal round of applause, BizHub round of applause for Emma Selby. Yay!
Oh, thank you. I love a Zoom round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So that